Hi there! The Knight's Tale, The Miller, The Wife of Bath are all collections of stories from Canterbury Tales, a great achievement and work by Geoffrey Chaucer, who is supposed to be the father and the founder of English literature in the half of the 14th century. Know first that the age of Chaucer was a turbulent century because of many events like the Black Death, which has wiped half of the population of England, almost. There was the peasant revolt for the impeachment of Richard II because he raised unfairly taxes for some and seized the lands from others. And there was the events of the fallout of 100-year war between France and England. So all these events affect the century or the history of English literature, and Chaucer was, of course, under the influence of all these events. So by the 1314s was born Geoffrey Chaucer, the son of a wine merchant, one wine merchant. His father's occupation was wine merchant, but the word Chaucer refers to chaussier, which means shoemaker, but this has nothing to do with the occupation of his father. His father was near to the royal court, and this enables Chaucer to be a member of the household during the Elizabethan era and to live under the reign or the course of span of three kings: Edward III, Richard II, and Henry IV, and he could gain praise and trust of all of them. So he was a diplomat, a worker at the service court, at the royal court, and he was charged of different missions for negotiating literary missions. He's traveled to Spain, to Italy, and he was married to a woman called Philippa, the daughter of a Flemish knight. So this proves that Chaucer had great links with the French people and France country in general. The language of French was very dominant, and in the court, in the public spheres, in official sphere, it was the official language to be written. Official written documents were in French. The literature read in court was in French. So French has become a rude and boisterous language of the upper class, the first language, and English the second language. This had made of French a cultural prison, jailing English. Okay, so really Chaucer wanted a literature written in English for his country and his people. So who could one day imagine that the diplomat and the civil servant turns to the founder of English literature? Indeed, it started to be written French-English literature, then totally written literature in Middle English. Remember, we are in the age of 14th century. English was on the course to be codified and standardized, and it was indeed in the 17th to the 18th century. So Chaucer was a worker in the royal court, and his career in the royal court as a deputy. And he writes because he was near one of the ladies died because of the plague. Okay, and he wrote a book of Duchess. The book of Duchess is a popular poem, Morning Blanche, one of the Duchess, describing her as my lady fair and bright. So vivid and brief sketches in the poem. As for our Canterbury Tales is a story collection, and it has a source. It's true that Geoffrey Chaucer inspired many writers after him, but also he had been himself inspired by other writers before him. And exactly Canterbury Tales source is from Boccaccio's commedia called Decameron. Decameron is a commedia written by Giovanni Boccaccio, and this work exactly could inspire Geoffrey Chaucer to write his great work Canterbury Tales. So Canterbury Tales is a story competition where Chaucer brings to voices the tale of each pilgrim on his way or on her way. So there were stories for different styles, different people, different characters, men and women. And we have so different tellers. This makes the Canterbury Tales different in styles, but at the same time makes its beauty and amazing touch, amazing literary penchant of Chaucer lies there. It's the best romance. So we have love stories. It's the best saint's life. We have life stories, incidents of sacred people, and it's the best fable. We have fables there about people that never existed or thought to have been existed once a time. So in the proper why Canterbury Tale? Why Canterbury called Canterbury? Because Canterbury is the proper name of a sacred place where there is a shrine. A shrine is a sacred tomb of Becket. Becket, or Thomas Becket, was killed, and the monks of the time feared that his body will be stolen. So they build a shrine for him in Canterbury Cathedral, and in the shrine they build around a wall, and the wall contains holes or gaps where people can kiss the tomb. So this is in real the story of Canterbury. So people used to do the pilgrimage in order to visit the Thomas Becket's tomb, okay, or shrine. Now, Canterbury Tales is full of different stories and different tales. Wife of Bath, Miller, and so on. I selected The Knight's Tale because I study because this tale was an inspiration for Shakespeare in his famous poem Midsummer Night's Dream. So William Shakespeare inspired by The Knight's Tale in this collection, and there is a great a closer adoption from between the two, a closer adaptation of Shakespeare in Midsummer Night's Dream within a tale of the Canterbury Tales. The story in The Knight's Tale is about a knight raping a maiden. And of course, he has to be punished for this act. So the king sentenced him to death. But the queen said that I give you a duration of 1 year, but you have to answer the following question. What women must desire? If in the span of 1 year you bring the correct answer, you will be released from death. So the knight went to and fro in different regions, asking many people, but no answer was convincing. And the deadline of 1 year was about to finish, to be over. And on his way, desperate, to the castle, he met a group of dancers. When he approached them, they disappeared, these women disappeared, and left only one old woman, or a witch, or hag, to whom he asks the question, and to him she answers the good answer, but made a condition. She told him, if my answer will be correct, I have a condition. What was? You marry me. Of course, the knight, in front of an old woman and in front of his life to be seized, he was obliged to accept. And she told him that the answer to your question, which is what women must desire, is women must desire sovereignty and control over their husbands and their lovers. So the knight gives the answer of the hag to the queen, and the queen accepts the answer. He was free from that, and he has to fulfill his promise and the pledge he made, and he marries the old lady. All a long time, the old woman notices the knight's disguise from her, so she asks him, what do you choose, a woman who is beautiful and faithless, or a woman who is ugly and faithful? The knight didn't hurry to answer the question, so he learned from his former experience, and he told her, you choose yourself, my dear, whom you prefer. So since the knight gives her sovereignty, she she rewards him, and the old lady turns to a beautiful and faithful at the same time wife, and they lived with the knight. Both knight and the now beautiful faithful lady lived very happily. So this is in short the Knight's Tale, part of a big collection of Canterbury Tales, a sublime and extraordinary work about the female or classic female fantasy, in which Chaucer was indeed brilliant. For the death of Chaucer, it is unknown, or dark, or gloomy, or not sure. Scholars aren't sure about his death, which maybe was accidental, and most of them speculated that he was murdered. And he was buried in Westminster Abbey, and he is a great writer whose endeavor to write a literature in English was a premiere. He inspired many writers after him, like Edgar Allan Poe, like Christopher Marlowe, like William Shakespeare, till the giant Charles Dickens. All of these writers credit that Chaucer was a strong influence. The writer, Geoffrey Chaucer, in short, and to conclude, is the writer who inspired or captured the voice of the kings and the commoners, all alike, and writing a literature in English for the first time in an exceptional and conventional creativity. That's all for today. Thank you.